Hello and welcome to the Green Profit Academy Pros podcast. This show digs into the challenges in growing a lawn care and landscape business while maximizing your profit. I'm Christine Era.
And I'm Steve Bousquet. We are the green industry experts in profit, growth, and leadership.
Yeah, I definitely see in the industry, last year at the Equipment Expo, GIE, there was a lot of younger people, I think 2018, we were there. And I was like, man, it's like people my age, maybe a little bit younger. I said, what is this industry going to look like in 10 years? Because, younger people are not getting into it. And then last year we went, I was blown away by the amount of 20 somethings and 30 somethings that were there. And they are so enthusiastic.
Yep.
And they were asking, I was just listening.
Looking at new ways of doing things.
Yes. The curiosity, the great questions that they were asking, like they were asking completely different questions that I remember.
Yeah.
They're at a different level. They expect, I guess, the expectation of the equipment and the way it performs is different than, we were like, I remember a Skag walk behind, it had direct, engagement for the blade, right?
Yep.
This belt engagement. And then Toro came out with an electric. And I think these electric clutches are everywhere now, but these guys are talking about the whole machine in a completely different way than us. So, I'm sure you're getting good input from that age bracket of tech guys. And
we love the fact that we have our core group of, our customer base, let's call the vets, you go to Arlington National Cemetery for Renewal and Remembrance, and you just kind of look back and see all these guys that started, and then on the flip side, now we have guys coming up that are starting, and how they're merging and talking to each other, and we have that core group of the old guys that we love,
right,
and encouraged by the young guys that are coming in. Because you're right, it seemed pretty not scary, but it was like, man, where is everybody, and what is this landscape area going to look like in 5 to 10 years? And I think we're all in good hands. They're learning and asking really good questions, and just essentially trying to drive the market to to be better, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think having the fact that it can be a real career now.
Yep.
And it's all a muscle,
Mm-hmm.
So it just opens up a whole new world. So what is and if I ask you any questions you don't want to answer, just say pass, right?
Yep.
So what is your biggest market? Is it the Northeast? Is it the Southeast? Is it the Midwest? Or is it just kind of where is it?
I would say it's very blended. If I had to say a hot spot, that Northeast is a big, area for us. But ultimately, as I look at sales numbers all the time, and I'm always looking for, trends or what's changing. And it's really a nice blended number across the country. And I'll say, once you get past, outside of Texas in West, it's a crapshoot on where you might, land, but each market has kind of changed. It's interesting. About time you think the Northeast is going to be the player, and it's just going to continue to always drive sales, and the Midwest comes in and says, no, we'll take this for a while. Then the Southern markets kick in, and it's really interesting to see those consistent change. It's a whole
right.
I guess right now I would say, the East Coast still is such a huge following and passion out there for all machines, but we feel really, really strong our relationships over there with that group, and it continues to push the envelope for new products too. A lot of good questions coming out of you guys.
And you opened up some dealerships in the East Coast, right?
Yeah, so we actually have expanded. I know, my Lord, it's all we do, I think, is travel and training and, trying to find new dealers, and just how, as you said, with the new owners, the new employees coming on board, parts and service availability is more important now than ever. Back, when you're starting up, you wanted something fixed, we're sending it to you, you're fixing it, it's up and going. And now there's a customer base coming on board that may not be as, attentive and or willing to do some of those repairs. So we really had to kind of take a step back and say, okay, where do we want to start opening up the marketplace? And honestly, we could have done this 5 years ago, but we couldn't have kept up, and we wouldn't have been able to supply people with machines, and we would have probably just gotten too big too quick and made some really poor life lessons. And so we try to do that slower, right? And as we continue to build from a 13,000 square foot, now we're in 30,000 square foot building. Now we can build more. We can start expanding our footprint. And a lot of the John Deere dealers around the country have been, from the beginning, have been big partners for us. And but so we've opened up Florida, for instance, Everglades, John Deere down there, got 20 locations.
Wow.
We've had United out in Texas. They've got 50 locations. I mean, there's some monster, John Deere dealers we've partnered with across the country, and still looking to add in and fill in, as needed. We've actually filled in in Indiana, in Ohio. We've opened up that market to Ag Pro in Ohio and Trueland John Deere, both of which have 18 locations and 30-something locations. And
Wow.
at least that gives you more parts availability and service, warranty work. And we are continuing to open that market up.
Core Growth Strategies provides business growth management solutions through cloud accounting, bookkeeping, and strategic business consulting programs. Our team works with small businesses in lawn care and landscape and trade industries throughout the U.S. We increase our clients' business acumen by creating business performance transparency through financials and strategic advisement based on industry best practices and benchmarks. Our experienced team provides support, guidance, and coaching, thereby allowing our clients to connect with viable data and discover their own solutions. Core Growth Strategies programs and services are designed to get your business from where it is now to where you have always dreamed it to be. Visit us today at coregrowthstrategies.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Don't miss our exclusive limited time podcast special. Just mention promo code GPA Pro to any member of our team during your complimentary consultation, or enter the promo code on our site when you sign up for one of our online programs. That's promo code GPA Pro.
Yeah, that's great. Great. People are looking for that service. I know not everybody, some of the younger generation, they don't want to wrench, or some of them still like to wrench. It really depends. I remember, working on equipment till midnight and to go out and use it the next day. Not everybody wants to do that. Sometimes space is limited and they can't have multiple machines. So having that repair quickly is important.
For sure.
And so you just built a new building last year?
Yeah, so our 5th year anniversary, we had the new building opened up, and again, that was an awesome accomplishment to say 5 years in. We're in our own building. Looking back and saying that that wasn't in our initial 5-year plan. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And being able to do that was just, it just was neat to see. I was happy for the employees, the team, and it kind of just, again, refreshes us and say, if we want to keep setting the bar higher and higher, having that space and making a better work environment too for the employees is critical.
So with success and all the growth, comes a lot of stress and the culture. How do you keep the culture? How do you keep your culture focused on what you want it to be?
I mean, I think luckily the customer base for us, they voice their opinion, and we kind of pass that information along to all the employees and try to keep them engaged. We are heavily customer service focused, and the machines need to leave a certain way with the best quality we can put attention to. We haven't had much employee turnover. The guys that started with us, seems like most of them are still there. If they left for some reason and then tried something else, they came back. So we try to make a good work environment for them. It's not easy. I mean, those stresses, like you said, they're everywhere, and uh, and keeping them happy, keeping the team happy, and just really up to date on the environment that we're in. It's one thing coming from us saying that we need to do better or we did this great, but customers ultimately posting on Facebook or these different groups acknowledging how happy they are, or on the flip side, if there was an issue, you know, we take that very, very personally from the top,
Right.
and we make sure the guys down to the last quality control guy um, understands, our beliefs in that too.
Yeah. Yep. So keeping customer focused and just keeping them up to date with what's going on and making them a part of it.
Yep, for sure.
So what's been your biggest surprise since like when you first started to go with this project and now? Like what did you think it was going to be and what did it end up being? What's the gap?
Um, Again, we're a very grounded bunch. We're very realistic. Um, Overall sales, with Advanced Turf Solutions, those guys, they're just extremely knowledgeable, and they're great human beings. First of all, great business people. They're throwing out, some expectations, what they would like to see out of Steel Green. And looking back, we're check marking these things like that can't be done. There's no way we can do this. And then ultimately it's listening to that voice. You can do it. It's going to happen. The people will rally around you, or you build a good product, this will happen. And so I think the overall is the biggest surprise is launching the product and having a massive positive response from honestly people that had never even seen the machine. And the machines were covered. No one had seen them. They hadn't been built long enough for people to see them, other than a select few. Okay. And I think watching people comment and saying how awesome the machine is when it's under a blanket and no one had used it, it was like, what are they doing? Like, but they trusted in us. They trusted
Right.
that we, as a group, were going to be coming up with something that they should, support and they appreciate. And ultimately, I think that first party we had at EquipX or GIE, we had a big party every year. Okay. And I walked into this party and there was no one there. I'm trying to get set up and I'm like, no one's going to show up. Like, I mean, what are we doing? We can't. This is going to have 200 people in here, maybe at one point, right? We're going to have 10 people show up. And I just didn't know how many people would really value what we were doing. Oh my God. It was packed. Within 20 minutes, people were coming in, and we, just like we'd all been friends forever, and that impacted me more than ever, is seeing all these people coming in that are like-minded. They have didn't have our machines. No one had our machines, and whether it was free food or free booze, that may have been one draw. That's fine.
Yeah.
Every year from that point, though, we've grown and grown and grown, and it's like I still look back and say it's such a huge surprise for us was that Advanced Turf Solutions, they were right. They saw the vision, and then it took us a while to kind of get that confidence level up, and then once we started down that road, that's what we've continually try to do is make machines better, make the customer experience better. We're nothing without you all, and it's pretty simple. It's pretty
Yeah.
freaking simple.
Yep.
We won't win every deal, and nor can everyone win every deal, but we sure try to take advantage of what we get and continue just to keep growing it. So I guess in a roundabout way, yeah, the biggest surprise was that first initial launch and how the everyone just kind of rallied around us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a great surprise to get, because a lot of businesses struggle for years to build market presence, branding, recognition, repeat business. So you guys, so the market was really saying they were ready for you guys before you showed up.
The market said that they wanted options, and that homegrown customer service focused. We as a group at that time were 5 guys that really, even though we had tons of experience and knew what we wanted to do, that was a really neat thing to see. The especially the 4 others, the Scott, Brent, Mike, and Craig, who maybe didn't go as noticed for all those years. They were able to get, see that they were building something that people trusted, though they weren't on the sales team necessarily. So maybe not everyone knew who they were. For them to get recognition was so cool, because they were just, guys before, right? They were just welders. They were just parts service guys. But that's the people who that's what grows your business. That's what people appreciate at the end.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like doing, like I always make Cody or Caleb do all the videos and interviews and things, because first of all, I'm not comfortable, as you could tell, in a camera, not my forte. I love people. I love talking to people. But when you get a camera in front of me, it's like a switch starts to turn off. So that's why I always make Cody and Caleb do them. But I don't want to be at the forefront. I don't want to be the face of that group, because I'm nothing. At the end of the day, it's our employees that should be the face of the company, because they're going to be around a lot longer than but our old, us old guys.
Yeah, and not everybody's comfortable in front of a camera. That is for sure. So what if you had to say somebody was just coming into lawn care, maybe they're in it their second year, third year, what advice would you give them?
Follow your mentor. Find a mentor. Join a group. The Facebook groups, including, obviously your group, you have to find people that you trust. When we started this out, we reached out to 3-4 people to get feedback and find out what we needed to do. So I would say, your gut feeling, right? Normally your gut's pretty dang close to being, the best decision, but having a group to lean on for any decision would be my first and foremost most important thing. I can't imagine not having structure to say, or confidence, and knowing I don't know everything. There's no way I can do all this by myself. So if I'm going to start up a lawn care company, I want to make sure I have the best resources available, and what better resource to have is a seasoned vet that's
right.
And that's a cool thing about this, this entire community of LCOs. They share. You guys share those painful stories, the good stories, and that's why I love it so much. Is we have competitors. You have competitors, but really, we're all pretty much in the same boat, and it's
we are.
it's the neatest it's just the neatest thing to see how you can survive in a competitive world. And we
And
want to win, but we want to do it the right way.
right. Yes. And there's many different ways to win. One of the things I'm always impressed with, and some of these Facebook groups you have to kind of take with a really big grain of salt,
Yep.
because they're not curious, they're not helpful. But the ones you're referring to that we belong to, they're very
Yeah.
curious, they're very helpful. And I'm always amazed at like how even though it's lawn care, the different approaches that people can take
Yep.
to make their dream come true or meet their goals. Like it doesn't always, it can be two people like Jim and Judy Beveridge, right? I mean, they have a great business. It's they're moving towards their goals, and then you have other people who have very large businesses, and that has its own struggles and challenges. But they're meeting their goals, and some people do all liquid, and it's all these different combinations. Some people do granular, some people do a combination. So so there's a lot of different ways.
There's no one wrong. But pick your course and run with it. There's a lot of guys that, before, like Jim and Judy, we didn't know them. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like, I didn't know Jim. For us to put trust that he would have an idea like that, dual boom. I know that other people have done it over the years, but the one thing, what Jim, when he came and visited with us, I have a picture, I think, of him at GIE, of him handing his wallet to me, because I told him we could do this, this, and this, and he was like, after like 20 minutes of listening to us, he's like, here's my wallet, take my money, I want the machine, but he was one guy, him and Judy, and they knew what they wanted. Jim knew exactly what he wanted, and though it was painful, like the first machine we built for him, we lost our rear end on. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't realize there was going to be additional here and there. It just one of those things we said, oh yeah, we could build that. Well, the next machine he bought was considerably more, and it was a smaller machine, and he was fine with it, because we all learn from our mistakes.
We can. How many times do we all say that? Oh, no problem. It's just an extra whatever. We can do that. Yep. And you're like, oh my God, it's more than the first thing that you had to do. Yep.
No, it's equivalent to saying, I'm going to go out, I can do your yard for $50. And then what they heard was that you're going to aerate, fertilizer, seed, everything for 10 years for $50. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, wait a minute, you didn't quite understand what I was, getting at. And it's learn from your mistakes and celebrate your wins, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's some great advice for people who are new in the industry. And, even if you've been in, I had a mentor and a coach for over 20 years. He retired and moved on. But he was very helpful. I would not be here if it was not for that mentorship and coaching. So, definitely that's what everyone says. It's funny that I had Joel Webrink on the previous podcast, and he said the same thing. Find a mentor, find someone that you can work with and help. It makes everything faster because you don't have to discover everything. And one of the things that's interesting is people that are not getting counsel on things they should, and then they have to it's like backpedaling and repairing and making up when you could just get some counsel on a certain decision or concept and just move much faster. So definitely get some coaching and mentorship, regardless of your stage in business. So, I want to thank you for doing this podcast with me. I know I was looking forward to it all day. Your company has really made an impact and a big footprint in the industry very quickly. 5 years. That's quite an accomplishment. So kudos and congratulations to you guys. And again, thank you. And thank you for listening to our podcast today. And we look forward to you listening to the next podcast.
Thank you again, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Green Profit Academy Pros Podcast,
the show that digs into the challenges of growing a lawn care and landscape business while maximizing your profit.